Good evening. Welcome to the N8BCVHF repeater. The time is 6:29 p.m.
Alrighty, I guess I'm live. Okay, where's this going? Oh. Good evening, amateur radio operators. A reminder that the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night 2-meter net will be starting in 15 minutes. That's at 7 p.m. We're also streaming live on YouTube. This is N8IJG.
The time is 6:44 p.m. N8BCVHF. Repeater, good evening.
N8IJG.
KRA, DOG.
K question mark 8 DOG, I believe it was. Good evening. Name here is Bill.
Hi, Bill. This is Jim.
I believe you said Jim. Good evening.
How's my transmission? Are you reading me clearly?
Yes, got full copy. Coming through quite clear. No problem whatsoever. Where are you located?
North Willoughby, right by the shore.
Alrighty, we have the Thursday night 2-meter net that will be starting in just about 15 minutes, 7 p.m. And you're more than welcome to stop and listen along as time permits.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I'm going to pay attention.
Very well, and your call, I may have missed a character. K8DOG, or did I miss a character in there?
Yes, that's Kilo Romeo 8, Delta Ocean Golf.
Alrighty, is that a new call?
It's about a year old, I guess, since 2018.
Alrighty, the reason why I'm asking, I just haven't heard a KR. So, very well, Jim. We'll pick you up in a few minutes when the net starts. This is N8IJG.
setup like that gives me a little bit of inspiration, and also nice to see a face connected to the audio. KABLA.
Good evening, Paul. Don't have a video face nor a great audio voice, but I'm attempting to, as I said, just put a little difference onto the net this evening. And let's see, let me play a little bit here. Let's try this button. Yeah. That's partial of the tube side, and I don't know how the latency is. But anyway, very well, Paul. N8IJG.
Got a quick question for you there. It's KR8DOG.
Go ahead, Jim. N8IJG.
That boom mic, is that foot operated? Do you use your foot to key that mic?
Yes, I do. Foot operated, push to talk.
Okay, yep, kind of new, but that looks pretty neat.
Well, thank you very much. It's a setup I keep tinkering with all the time, but yeah, it's something I enjoy very much. Thank you very much, N8IJG.
KR8DOG. Association, Thursday night, 2-meter net. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Lake County Amateur Radio Association's Thursday night, 2-meter net. This net meets every Thursday at 7 p.m. on the 147 at 210 megahertz repeater, which is owned, sponsored, and maintained by LaCara, the Lake County Amateur Radio Association of Lake County, Ohio. Your net control station for this session of LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net is N8IJG, November 8, India Juliet Golf. My name is Bill, and I'm located in Wycliffe. The purpose of the net is primarily for, but not necessarily limited to, the sharing of amateur radio information with each other. Here's a list of some of the things we're looking for here on the net. Any information you may have concerning VE testing sessions, AMFest information, or any information you may have downloaded from the various amateur radio websites. We're interested in any DX that you may have worked, whether it was on HF, VHF, or UHF. Are you a member of any other clubs in addition to or other than LaCara? If so, what activity has your club been up to? We'll take sunshine reports here on the net. If you know of someone who's recovering from an illness or surgery, let us know so we may offer words of encouragement here on the net. We'll take any silent key announcements you may have. We'll also take classified items here on the net. If the item you are selling belongs to you, then you can mention the price. But if the item belongs to a buddy or an estate sale, please refrain from mentioning the price. N8IJG for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association's Thursday night 2-meter net. Well then, we need to get the net started, and to do so, I will be asking for check-ins. But we always begin the net first with mobile, low power, and echoing stations. So if you happen to be traveling on Interstate 90 somewhere between Cleveland and Erie, or out and about running an errand on this Thursday evening, we'd like to hear from you. So then, if there are any mobile or low power stations that wish to check in at this time, please call. This is N8IJG.
Any mobile or low power stations for the Thursday night 2-meter net. And then, not hearing any, I'm going to go ahead and move to our Echolink station that is standing by. Doug, N6, NFF in Sacramento. Good evening to you. And how are things in hopefully sunny California?
Well, good evening, Bill, and everybody else on the net. This is Doug, N6 NFF. We haven't been with you for a couple of weeks because we haven't felt very good. But thankfully, that cold decided to pay us a visit is gone, and we're feeling back to our old dirty, rotten, nasty selves. It's not sunny here. We do have 55 degrees. This time of year, we really should be warmer than that. And hopefully someday we will get warmer because we've been having a lot of rain. In fact, this is probably one of the rainiest winters that I've seen in the 10 years that I have been out here. Let me break the time. Not too much new. I haven't been on the bike because my pilot has been busy doing other things. Today he was supposed to have left for Moab, Utah to participate in a benefit ride for cancer, and he'll be gone throughout next week. So hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll be back on the bike again, but we have been riding the exercise bike to kind of stay in shape until such time as he returns. We don't have anything else, Bill, so what I'm going to do is hand it back to you, say 73, and let you beat the bushes for more check-ins, and I hope you find a whole bunch of them. So take care, and we'll talk with you later. N8IJG and the LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net. This is N6 NFM.
Very well, Doug. Good evening to you. I too haven't been on the net myself. Missed last week. It was what I called my unbirthday, since I'm a leap year baby. No 29th this year. So the wife took me out to dinner and had an enjoyable dinner with her. And Larry, K8LPC, was a substitute and did a fine job. So it's good to hear you. We too are suffering our usual winter or anticipation of spring. Maybe that's a better way to put it. Temperatures have been below normal. We've been running in the lower teens, and today I think we hit about a high of 25. And this weekend's supposed to warm up, drop off for a couple days, and then about Wednesday of next week jump back up into the 40s, maybe 50s. So maybe we'll be seeing spring on a early time frame this year, at least hopefully. Sorry about the pilot, and understand, and let me grab a beep here to keep everything happy. Let all the machines reset, but as hopefully that will happen again soon. But do thank you for checking in. Tell Sheila the group from Lake County says hello, and at least you're getting your rain. That's what you've been many times saying that you were low on, so that appears not to be a problem this year. Thank you for stopping by and checking in. Listen along as time permits. Do have the audio news, and we'll bring that up a little bit later. So 73, Doug, and have a very good evening. And I'm going to go ahead and grab another beep here. And with no other stations showing up on Echolink at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open up the airwaves to all stations. And if you're within the sound of my voice and have the wattage to hit this machine and wish to give it the good old college try, anyone, anywhere, for LaCara Thursday night 2-meter net, please call. This is N8IJG.
N8IJG.
Kilo 8 Lima, Papa Charlie.
Okay, and that will put a hold on for a moment. Alrighty, Paul, K8VLA, have you, Larry, we'll be getting back to you, K8LPC, Jim, KR8DOG, have you in as well. There was another station that was in there, but you were right in the noise. If you would like to try it again, please. And it appears I'll just go ahead and go with these stations. If that other station can either improve in power or improve your position, that would be helpful. Jim, KR8DOG, good evening to you. Third time we talked this evening. And how are you?
Hi, I'm just fine as a frog's hair went 2 ways, I'll tell you. And like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of new to this, and I thought I'd stop in and see what's going on here. I have One particular question. I have my base station, and I love it. It's great. It works and everything, but I'm thinking about getting a handheld, and I was kind of wondering if I could get a little advice from, you know, people that have had a little more experience than I. Right now, I see that these Bofang handy talkies are pretty cheap, under $50. Do you have any input, positive or negative, on that model?
Well, Jim, like most other questions, ask 5 people and you'll get 5 different answers. It really depends, well, a few things it depends on. One is bank account. You can't beat the Bofangs for their cost. As far as being on exact frequency, that gets to be a question. They do have some variations in frequency modulation, so that is one thing to be aware of. Programming, you have to do it on the computer. Trying to field program on the fly a Bofang is not that easy to do. I do have one myself, just a tri-bander, and again, it comes in as a great tool. Let me grab a beep here. But it depends on your pocketbook. The more expensive radios give you a few more features. But again, out in the field, if the $600 radio gets wet, that's kind of a hurts the wallet versus a $25 radio. So as I said, you can talk to 5, 10 people and get 5 to 10 different answers. They're functional, they're inexpensive. Do they work? Yes. So, I mean, it really depends. To give you a definitive answer, that's something that you really need to make a decision on yourself. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Back to you, Jim, N8IJG.
Yeah, KRADOG. That is kind of what I was hoping to hear. I wanted to hear a little bit about it, as far as if there's any problems with modulation and so forth. And naturally, the reason I'm interested is because it is very inexpensive. I could toss it in a bug-out bag or throw it in my glove compartment in my trunk and not have to worry about it. But it would always be there, so I figured that might be something worth investing in, especially if it's kind of cheap. Since I've been looking, I've seen some things on YouTube about Bofang radios and an FCC warning being issued that they are not legally operated because of the extended frequencies. Have you or anyone else heard about this or up to speed on this issue? Go ahead.
All right, I'm getting some additional clicks in there. Yes, the Chinese radios generally can be taken out of frequency. We are permitted to operate in a particular range. So you are supposed to abide by rules 97 and the frequency allotted to your particular license. And yes, there are individuals who do take them out of frequency, out of the allotted frequency band. But again, that falls upon the individual. It is not encouraged by the FCC, nor does your license really allow you to go outside of the amateur bands for transmission.
Yeah, that's my understanding as well. I think what I heard at first was the radios themselves may become illegal to operate on on ham frequencies because of the fact they don't follow, correct me if I'm wrong, code 90 or whatever, rule 90. They operate out of that rule or beyond the boundaries of that rule, and that's what makes them illegal or possibly soon to become illegal.
That's always a possibility. Again, that's the FCC will determine that. If you own the radio, then there's not much that can be done about it. But as far as the purchase goes, as I said, it's up to you. They do have some additional features. Some of us have played around with tweaking the frequencies a little bit, but as I said, it's really up to you, and until they outlaw them, they're going to be on the market. So it's, as I said, it's your purchase and how you feel about it and what you want to do.
Very much, Bill. I appreciate your input on this. I'm going to sit here on the side a little bit and listen in, and maybe let someone else take over for a little bit. Thanks again, N8IJG.
All right, Jim. We are here weekly, starting at 7 p.m. And if you're not familiar with the format, we have kind of a comment round, a friendly session, chit-chat, asking questions. Go through the club calendar, Lake County Amateur Radio Association's calendar, bring up the audio news, and then generally put a wrap on it. So that's kind of the agenda. So very well, listen along. If you have another question, feel free to pop in. And we'll say 73 to you for right now, and drop down to Paul, KA8VLA. Good evening to you.
Evening, Bill, KA8VLA. Talking about the Vail County radios, I have 3 of those. What I have learned is you get what you pay for. I was getting back into ham after being out for some time now. I bought a Kenwood bubble rig, which I'm running for my mobile now, or for my base station, I should say. Big difference in the reception, even. The Vail phones don't perform as well as the Kenwood and my old Yaesus and things that I've had in the past. I've had Yaesu and Kenwood. Icon was always a big name. So you do get what you pay for, but they are functional.
I agree with you, and like I said, I have one tri-bander, which comes in very handy when working on the repeaters. I have all 3 frequencies, so that makes it a nicety. But usually when I go in the field, I take one of my other radios, just because it's the ease of field programming. So each comes with a plus and a minus, and one of the big pluses is, of course, the cost. But you're right. You get what you pay for, but yet, if you drop in a puddle of water, it's not that much of a hurt to the wallet.
On that, I just think the things that were made back in the 80s and 90s, some of my gear that I have laying around was much more superior than what they're making today. But if you want to just get it on the cheap, they work well and get you by with what you can see. Really intrigued by the YouTube streaming thing tonight. That's really quite an operation.
Now, it's been many years of playing, picking up gear, and I like computers, and I like to incorporate the computers into the hobby, so everything is pretty much interconnected here. Those radios that allow computer connection are thus so wired, and as I said, this is kind of the ideal setup I've always hoped to have. Maybe in the future, I don't know how much I'm going to do the YouTube. It's not going to be weekly. I had it, and you can comment on the lighting, but I had put up some little additional lighting. I felt it was a little bit dark, so maybe I've at least corrected that. But it's going to be a little bit of playing, maybe once a month. We'll try it. As I said, just a different visual effect to the net. Get to see somebody set up. I can swing the camera around a little bit. I got my transistorized side and I have my tube side, so I get to play in whatever world I want to play in. And as I said, it's the setup I've always hoped for. N8IJG.
Well, Bill, you answered one question that was in my head. Every time we start the net, it sounds like a canned message. And as I saw, you weren't speaking into the mic, you were tapping in on the computer screen to say, oh, hey, here's the net, we welcome blah, 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 same message, and so on. I did determine it was a canned message that you're putting out. Okay, Bill.
Yeah, after a couple of years, I got tired of repeating it that week after week, so I did a little recording. Probably should try to re-record it, but yeah, as I said, I use the computer when I can, interconnect everything, so to make the process go a little smoother and a little less effort on my part.
We certainly appreciate that, but to answer that question that was floating in my head for some time now. Now I know. Here's the secrets behind Bill. Okay, back to the weather. We were talking about the weather and the temperatures. My wife's sister lives in International Falls, Minnesota, and I was looking at the weather on Sunday. It was minus 17 degrees, but they did warm up to 0. So I'm like, wow, that's really a great thing. And then my grandson, he happens to be in a 3-month soccer training camp, and it was 89 degrees there. He's in Rosario, Argentina. So, big difference.
Yes, very much so. I do agree. I'm sorry, my mind's sometimes going in like 3 different directions right now. Yeah, I kind of lost train of thought there. Back to you, Paul.
And we were just talking about weather differences. You know, minus 17 here in the States, and over in Argentina it's 89 degrees. Some pictures back there, and people got all running around with their shirts off, and I'm like, oh, come on, please, spring come. At least spring.
And that's why I make almost a yearly trek down to Florida in February to attend the Orlando Ham Fest. The way to get out of Cleveland in mid-February.
Well, that certainly sounds good. Coming up on my agenda when I retire, maybe I can do some things similar to that. Well, this is KACLA. Nice listening, nice seeing on the YouTube thing. That was an interesting portion of the show tonight. So I'll say 73, turn it over to net control, go on to the next.
Very well, Paul. Yes, I've kind of automated some of the operation here and keep playing around. One of my next projects, I picked up an Android or Adreno single computer board. I'm trying to hook up a servo motor to it, so I can swing the camera digitally by the lens, but I'm looking at doing it mechanically. So that's another endeavor I have that eventually will get put onto a turnstile, so I can also rotate the camera a little differently. So anyway, I got a few other pieces that I plan on playing with. But very well, Paul. I do thank you for checking in and your comments on the Bofang, and I'm sure Jim's appreciating some of the additional comments. Listen along, view along as time permits. We'll say 73. Do have the audio news, and we'll bring that up a little bit later. 73 for now, and Larry's been kind of on the hold. K8LPC will send the airwaves over to you.
JG in the group. The last time I looked, it was 19 balmy degrees on the top of the hill in the township of Chardon. And going down. But I know it's supposed to be getting warmer soon. So I'm looking forward to the warmer temperatures that are coming up. Very good seeing everyone at the club meeting last night. I know it was a little bit spartan because of the cold temperatures, but hopefully that'll pick up soon. And as for Jim, N8IJG, G, go ahead. I don't have any Bayo Tank radios. I do have an Oshang dual bander, dual receive. That was about $100. And it works very well, but I'm not crazy about the lithium batteries. When they go bye-bye, they don't give you any notice. I do, however, love my Yaesu FT60. I think it's FT60R. And that's also a dual bander with a single receive. And that's just a tank. I carry that with me all the time. I do recommend an external antenna. The Comet and the Diamond, larger antennas. I believe both of mine have the Diamond, longer antennas, and that makes the radios look considerably better than the rubber ducky dummy loads. Other than that, my friends, I just want to say it was truly a pleasure to fill in for you for your birthday. I look forward to doing it again whenever you need a day off. I love doing that control. And spent the day basically doing some domestic life chores and staying inside and get some running around. I was going to do today, but I put it off till tomorrow. So with that, I'm going to type up the meeting minutes. Acting Secretary as well as Vice President of the Lake County Amateur Radio Association. I'm going to do that and get those ready to get shut down. And I'll be downstairs listening to the group on the iPad on Echo Link. So I'll be looking forward to the AWRL audio. I did check you out on YouTube, but gosh, I wouldn't have made that. I didn't even think about it. So with that, I'm going to say to you, my friend Bill, as well as everyone else. I look forward to catching everyone later on down the road. N8IJG.
Very well, Larry. I'm sure Jim's appreciating the additional comments that are being put forth. Thank you again for taking the net. Do appreciate it. We've got roughly about 7 viewers on that are streaming as well as hopefully listening. So as I said, just putting a different caveat onto the net, and we'll see how things go, and maybe the first Thursday of next month we'll do another stream. So get some input on how things are, what changes I need to make here. So, but very well, do appreciate you checking in, as I said, with comments, and thank you again for taking the net. We'll say 73 and have a very good evening. And this is N8IJG with the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2 meter net. Are there additional check-ins?
WB8ZGH, KC8BTN.
YJY.
All right, with that pause, John, as I fill in, YJY, BKE, Ed, Ron, BTN, Mike, ZGH, and there was a station, again, you're in the noise. You're going to either have to improve your position or get a little bit more power, because I'm just not able to pull you out. So you're going to have to do something in that manner. So let that station get some time to reposition. Mike, WB8ZGH, good evening to you, and how's your day been?
WB8ZGH and all those listening on the net tonight. Day's been pretty good, productive. Worked on the taxes and got that all done. So that's a good feeling. The bad part is I owe, you know. So we're going to have to deal with that down the page a little bit. Other than that, just down here in the shack, keeping warm, got the heaters on, and listening along in the net. Good job. Interesting conversations tonight on the Chinese radios. I have a couple of those too, and they work well. And the handhelds. I'll probably get a tri-bander here one of these days. So back to net. This is WB8ZGH.
Very well, Mike. I also have I got two Motorola single banders, the VHF and a UHF. They're like bricks in comparison to the Bofang. They're big. You can just about use them as a hammer to pound in a nail. Big bulky battery. They work great, but not field programmable at all. So they do have their deficiencies, but very well. We did taxes today too, and new tax laws did not help us out at all. I was very unimpressed with the taxes. I knew going in it wasn't going to be pretty, and left with less than pleasurable taste in my mouth after the taxes. So not trying to start a political discussion here or not, but they are interesting, no doubt. So very well, Mike, listen along as time permits. Warmer, sunnier days hopefully tomorrow, and we'll say 73. Drop down to Ron, KC8BTN.
Well, good evening, everybody on the net. And yes, Bill, I'm watching you. You need a frontal camera so we can see your face instead of the back of your head. Hi, hi. 22 degrees at my end of Menor. Break. Well, nothing exciting here. I did go up to the wellness center for a little bit of a swim. My daughter and I go up there usually. Mama's got a meeting tonight, so she wasn't able to go. But anyway, I want to thank you for taking the net. I want to thank you for playing around with YouTube. And I don't know, we could always record one of these and send it out. So anyway, thanks again. Have a good evening. Everybody have a wonderful warmed up weekend until it comes back again. This is KC8DTS.
Well, thank you, Ron, for checking in. Yeah, I know the back of the head. It's been an issue since college. It just has kept falling out, unfortunately. I missed my father, and he was supposed to be the one who got it. Missed him and got me. So I saw a picture of my great-grandfather years ago, and I'm like a spitting image of him, mustache and all. So don't really have, at least I don't consider a radio voice, and definitely don't have a TV face. So the side shot is probably the best. Probably should focus more on the radios, be of more interest to people. But anyway, do appreciate you checking in. You have a very good evening. Good to hear from you. Good to see you last night as well. 73, and listen along as time permits. Ed, KB8BKE, we'll send it over to you next.
N8IJG in the group. Good evening, and looking good on the YouTube there, Bill. Thanks for undertaking this little experiment. Looks like it's working pretty well. There is about, I'd say about 5% of a second latency in the broadcast, but other than that, everything is looking good. Not much else going on here, just enjoying the weather and listening along. So I'll send it back to you. KBDK.
I appreciate the report. I know there's latency, and there's not much that can be done about that. I just found a new piece of software, as I said. Was listening to some various video discussion groups, and one of them mentioned this software, OBS, if I remember correctly, is the name of the program, and just allows you to, yeah, OBS Studio, allows you to use video, and there's some changes I can make on the fly. I'm still learning the software, so it gives me an opportunity to play around with a new piece of software. So, and just as I said, wanted to give a different flavor to the net. So, but very well, Ed, do thank you for checking in. You have a very good evening, and 73 to you. And John, KB8YJY, this is N8IJG with a Thursday night 2-meter net.
Evening to everybody. Just checking in for the numbers. Thought I'd stop by here and see what's going on. Everybody's sounding good here. With that, really nothing else to add. Just saying howdy, and we'll try to catch you next week. KB8YJY, back to net control.
All right, John, very good to hear from you. I know the HF bands haven't been very favorable lately. I've tuned around a few times, and not much there. So thank you again for checking in, 73, and have a very good evening. And this is N8IJG with the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night 2-meter net. Are there additional check-ins? Any additional check-ins for the Thursday night 2-meter net? Then I'm going to go ahead and look at our club calendar, which is available at www.lcara.org. Feel free to click around on the website. 71 days until Dayton Hamvention. as I've mentioned already, numerous weeks, lodging. If you're thinking about attending the Hamfest, have any interest in attending it for multiple days, I would highly recommend that you find a hotel or lodging as soon as possible. Rooms are getting hard to come by. If you're considering going but aren't 100% sure, still get that room reservation. You can always call back and cancel out at a later time, but rooms are becoming scarce. So again, a recommendation to do the lodging as soon as possible. On the calendar, club meeting was yesterday. The next one that will occur in April will be taking place at the Lake County Historical Society. So do remember to reset your navigation, auto car navigation devices for the Historical Society. We still meet at 7:30 p.m. It's only our spring move, spring summer location. What is on the calendar coming up this Sunday? We spring ahead 1 hour. Remember to change those clocks. Saturday night or early Sunday morning, whatever your preference is. But we do spring ahead 1 hour on the 10th. So do keep that in mind. Let me grab a beep here. We do have a few activities coming up the following week. The week of the 17th is Severe Weather Awareness Week. Various activities will be taking place, so listen along to various nets. There may be radio activity, as well as definitely the schools will be participating in the week. Toledo Hamfest will be happening on the 17th, a couple hours from here. Owens Community College, if I remember correctly, is its location. Nice Hamfest to attend. Got a couple hours to spend. Additional information is on the net, or you can always Google the Toledo Hamfest. Start time for that is at 8 a.m. On Tuesday, the 19th, is the third breakfast group gathering. That is an open event, so a number of the area amateur operators do get together for a morning breakfast, chit-chat, various QSOs, and as I said, it's an open event, so feel free. If you have the time to stop by, we usually start gathering a little after 8 a.m. Usually start getting the orders in about 8:30. On the 20th is a statewide tornado drill. I don't know if there is any activity that is presently planned for it, but it is the state drill, so if you hear some sirens going off, they are probably going to be running tests. Lake County usually doesn't, just because in the past it has created some issues. They do have a scheduled day for their tests. Generally, I think it's on Wednesday. I can't remember exactly. But if there is any activity, always feel free to tune to this frequency for any updates that are going around. And this is N8IJG with the Thursday night 2-meter net, and that pretty much looks like the calendar for events for the remainder of the month. Always feel free to look at www.lcara.org. Stay current with what's happening with the Lake County Amateur Radio Association. And let me grab a beep here. And before we move to the ARRL audio news, are there any stations that are standing by wishing to check into the Thursday night 2-meter net? after a couple of button pushes, I will be bringing up the ARRL audio news and trying to read it. Looks like about 7 minutes and 16 seconds in length. So this is N8IJG presenting the ARRL audio news.
This is ARRL Audio News, your weekly summary of news highlights from the world of amateur radio. If you retransmit audio news through a repeater, listen for the Morse code K character, followed by 4 seconds of silence. That's your cue to stop transmitting so that your repeater timer can reset.
I'm Carla Pereira, KC1HSX, and these are our stories for Friday, March 1st. The January issue of the IARU Region 1 Monitoring System newsletter reports the Russian Sunflower Coastal Radar, located east of Vladivostok, is being heard at night on 3716 kHz and 6860 through 7005 kHz, as well as on several 60-meter frequencies. A Chinese wideband over-the-horizon radar also appeared on 7.000 MHz in early January. The winning article for the February 2019 QST Cover Plaque Award is Installing Coax Crimp Connectors by Dino Pappas, KL0S. The QST Cover Plaque Award, given to the author or authors of the most popular article in each issue, is determined by a vote of ARRL members on the QST Cover Plaque Poll webpage. Here's a heads up to listen for activity from the International Radio Club 4UI-ITU in Geneva, Switzerland. A number of radio amateurs from around the globe are attending the ITU conference preparatory meeting in Geneva in advance of World Radio Communication Conference this fall. Already, there has been a lot of activity from 4U1-ITU, with much of the work being on CW and FT8. IARU Secretary David Sumner, K1ZZ, notes that 4U1-ITU is located in an office building with rooftop antennas and a very high level of man-made noise, especially on 80 and 160 meters. Summit on the Air activity has reached new heights, with a report of an operation from the peak of Mount Aconcagua in Argentina at 22,841 feet. The operation took place on February 16th by Tom Brzezinski, SQ9FVE, who was using the call sign LU/SQ9FVE. Tom is an experienced and skilled mountaineer, and as required for such an undertaking, planned the expedition carefully, including all necessary support. The climb to the summit began some 13 days ahead of the operation. Upon reaching the top, Tom made a total of 5 contacts on 2-meter FM with Argentinian stations as far as 56 miles away. With its funding secure for another year, WWV, the world's oldest continuously operating radio station, will have extra reason to celebrate its centennial this fall. The National Institute of Standards and Technology and the Northern Colorado Amateur Radio Club have teamed up to organize 100th anniversary events. A memorandum of understanding is pending. The WWV committee has announced that the call sign WW0WWV was granted on February 23rd to the WWV Amateur Radio Club for use during the Amateur Radio Special Event, planned to run September 28th through October 2nd, with operators on the air around the clock. NCARC predicts the effort will require hundreds of volunteer operators. The WWV committee met on February 22nd to further firm up plans for the centennial celebratory events. Although the U.S. government cannot fund any amateur radio special event expenses, club members will be allowed to use a 15-acre parcel on WWV property. The operating site lies outside the security fence.
And now with this week's satellite update, here's Bruce Page, KK5DO.
Are you new to operating packet on satellites, like the ISS and N8IJG, or have you had many hours of fun on them? In either case, you might want to give FalconSat 3 a shot. This satellite was used by the Air Force for 10 years. After its mission was completed, it was turned over to amateur CUs and control transfer to AMSAT.
If you have used the ISS or N8IJG, you will know that the uplink and downlink are on 2 meters with FalconSat 3. The uplink is on 145.840 megahertz, and that frequency does not change. The downlink is on 435.103 megahertz, and you must correct for Doppler. As you acquire the satellite, you start at around 435.110 megahertz and slowly move down towards 435.090 megahertz. The satellite uses 9600 BPS AX.25 format. You can use a radio that has a TNC built in, use a radio with an external TNC, and even a software-defined radio. There are a bunch of ways to make it work for you. Just the other day, a long time ham made his first satellite contact. Now that the satellite world has opened up to him, there are many different things that can be done on the satellites. This is Bruce Page, KK5DO, for the ARRL Audio News.
This is the ARRL Audio News propagation forecast for Friday, March 1st. No spots on the sun this week, but the mighty solar winds are blowing from a hole in the sun's atmosphere, traveling at more than 1 million miles an hour. The particles are causing geomagnetic storms, and some people in the United States are being treated to the spectacle of the northern lights. The good news is that this coronal hole should be rotating out of view over the next several days. With luck, things will settle down in time for the ARRL SSB DX contest this weekend. Beyond the weekend, conditions should be quiet well into the following week. On VHF and UHF, hams in central and southern Texas have been seeing major tropo openings on 2 meters and up. This is likely to continue for a number of days and is expected to extend throughout the southern states next week.
And that concludes ARRL Audio News for this week. Our thanks to all contributors to this week's report. ARRL Audio News is produced by the American Radio Relay League, the National Association for Amateur Radio. For more information on amateur radio or the ARRL, visit us on the web at arrl.org. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter by searching for ARRL. If you have a question or comment about ARRL Audio News, email us at audionews@arrl.org. This program is copyright ARRL, all rights reserved. 73, and thanks for listening.
The ARRL Audio News is a weekly presentation of the Lake County Amateur Radio Association. And this is N8IJG for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association, Thursday night, 2 meter net. Are there additional check-ins at this time? It appears I'll start to bring the net to a close. If you've been out there listening to us on a scanner and have always wondered how to become an amateur radio operator, look at the LaCaro website at www.lcara.org and feel free to contact any one of the board members to learn how we can assist you in earning your amateur radio license. And once again, I'll put a final call out to see if there are any additional check-ins for the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2 meter net. And not hearing any stations identify. This has been a weekly scheduled session of the Lake County Amateur Radio Association Thursday night, 2 meter net. We meet every Thursday on this frequency at 7 p.m. local time. I would like to thank LaCaro for the use of this repeater, and hearing no additional check-ins, I'm going to go ahead and close this session of the Thursday night 2 meter net at 7:54 p.m. local time, and I'll return the repeater to regular amateur radio use. Good evening to all. 73. This is N8IJG. I will also be closing down the video streaming in the next minute or so. This is N8IJG.
N8IJG. Thanks, Bill. I enjoyed the show, and hope to see you next week.
All right, Jim. Very good to have you aboard. As I said, we're here weekly, so feel free to stop by when time permits. If you have additional questions, feel free to put those out. You know, as I said, talk to 5-6 people, you get 5-6 different answers, but with a little bit of research, you usually can get to an answer. How do I turn this off?